LEI WULONG is without a doubt one of the most iconic Tekken characters, and it's safe to say that a lot of legacy players, a lot of the OG players are still wondering why this character is not in Tekken 8. He was not on the base roster, and he's also missed the first 2 seasons of the DLC season passes. Tekken 8 is about 17 months old, and I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about LEI. Go back to Tekken 7 and see just how this character played back in that game, as well as talk about the possibilities of LEI making his return come season 3. So let's get right into it. So let's first talk about Archytpe. What was LEI WULONG's archetype? LEI WULONG was the master of the stances, bro. Hwoarang, Eddie, Zafina, Lydia, Xiaoyu, none of these characters have shit on LEI when it comes to stance transitions. This man was the birth of stances in Tekken, bro. Like, of course, he's based on Jackie Chan and the 5-form style Kung Fu, the martial arts style. He had 5 different animal stances alongside other stances, right? So it made him a very stance heavy focused character. So stance heavy and mix up heavy focused as well. Like, his mix-ups were super disgusting. He's a type of character that was very bad in neutral but was insane in stances. When this character is in your face in a stance, you're guessing for your life. But it was not that easy to get in a stance with LEI at an advantageous position. You had to take a risk to go in a particular stance that had a heavy mix-up. I'll talk about that later in the video. So basically, LEI's archetype was super mix-up heavy character, very bad poking, very mediocre punishment, and relied mostly on gimmicks and stance mix-ups to open up the opponent. Next, let's talk punishment, and like I said, LEI was a mix-up heavy character, so for that he did not have very good punishment. So for 10 frame he had 2-1, which you could go into Drunken Master, did 23 damage, left him at +3. Like, most of his punishment put him in stances so that he could follow up with the mix-up. That's kind of how LEI worked in this game. So he had 2-1, you could hold forward to go into Drunken Master. He also had 1-1, you could hold forward to go into Snake, and Snake was one of the scary stances. I'll get into the stances later, but these were his 2 best 10 frame punishers. Most people used 1-1 because Snake had a bit more options and overall just a better stance than Drunken Master. And then for 12 frame punishment, he had forward to 4. This was given to him in season 4, I believe. Very strong punisher, very strong 12 framer. And keep in mind, in Tekken 7 you could punish get up kicks. This was a very strong punish for get up kick 4, the mid kick. Had amazing range, also left him in back turn for a guaranteed 50-50 mix-up. I'll get into back turn as well because the back turn had a very strong mix-up as well. For 13 frames he had down forward 1, which sucked. Stabby arms, did not have range, was just not worth using. You're better off using forward to 4, even for 13 frames for 13 frame punishment. Then 14 frames he had 4-4. This was a high-low string, all guaranteed. However, it was very weird to use. It just felt very off to use this move as a punisher, but it hit hard, dealt about 40 damage, and you could also cancel the second hit into Phoenix stance, but again, I'll talk about that later. For long range punishment, you had forward 3-1. This would punish stuff like Poor Death Fist, and for like max range punishment, you had forward 3. This was an insane whiff punisher, bro. Like, high level LEI mains were so good at using this move. It also had the mix up at the end because there was a mid high string, so LEI players could just do forward 3 on its own, right, as a mix up. You could also go into back turn from forward 3, so you had to guess when LEI did this forward 3 string. And then for outstanding punishment, it's basically the same, still not as good as many other characters back in Tekken 7, but he did have a very strong outstanding 10 frame punisher. This did a chunky ass amount of damage and it just felt good, like it hits freaking hard, very chunky. However, it was launch punishable on block, so you have to be careful when using this outstanding 3. For 14 frames, outstanding 2-1, pretty cool string. Then for 15 frames, of course, he had outstanding 3+4 for launching. He also had a hop kick as well as a down forward 2 for 15 frame. So again, LEI was a mix-up focused heavy character, and for that fact, he did not have that amazing of punishment. That has changed a lot in in Tekken 8, with characters like Raven having good punishment despite being heavy mix-up focused characters. But like back in the day, back in the older Tekken games, if you had strong mix-up game, you had shit punishment. So Zafina also had trash punishment as well. Now going into LEI WULONG's lows. Lei was a type of character that had horrible lows in neutral, but like so many good lows in his stances, bro. So he was mainly stance focus. I wanted you to always be in stance with this character. So he had moves like down 3, 15 damage, like super good range. So think of Brian Fury's down 4, basically served the same purpose. I think it was like -1 on hit as well. He had down 4. So when you think of down 4, think of things down 4, basically the same thing. 12 frames fast, I think 0 on hit as well. You could hold down to go into Snake, which was very strong because you had mix-ups from this. You had his full crouch down 4-2, which was alright, nothing crazy. Second hit could be parried. Lastly, you had his hell sweep, which was his best low in neutral. Like man's just straight up had a hell sweep, and this shit was so strong because even at tip range it still hit. Most hell sweeps don't land at tip range, like Devojin's hell sweep or Leo's hell sweep as well in Tekken 8. It could also launch at close range if you cancel the second hit into Drunken Master. So like down back 4, hold forward to go into Drunken Master, then get a screw into a combo ender. Did not do that much damage. Think of Jin's hell sweep. So when it came to lows, Lei's neutral lows sucked. They were just not as good. You had to work your ass off and go into stance and then get some good lows out of stance. But even then, most of his lows in stance were still risky. Most of them were launch punishable because most of them either launched or like super knocked down hard, right? Like Snake for 1, which was low high, could be ducked. Panther slide 1-2, knocked down but was launch punishable. Tiger 4 launched on low hit but like could be launched. His Razor Rush 3, the last hit being a low, was unsafe, could be launched. Crane 4 could be launched. So he had a bunch of good lows, but most of them were risky. This character also came with so much risk. Okay, so I've mentioned multiple times about how Lei was a very bad character in neutral but very strong in stance, or at least a better character in stance. That's mostly because his neutral tools were just not good. I talked about his down forward 1 being very short, very stabby range. It was just a very good tool to use. It just did not feel good. He also had like a down forward 4 for spacing, but basically that's just what he had as close range for poking outside of jabs. Basically just down forward 1. Maybe even forward 2 here and there for forward 2 for pressure, because forward 2 for Oz's Punisher mid-high, so you could throw out forward 2s here and there. But overall, this man did not have any good tools for a good neutral game. So Lei mains used a lot of Razor Rush. So Lei had a missed step similar to Kazuya's forward. Forward he had this like missed step dash. So out of this he had quite a few moves and a few strings as well. So from this he would access his Razor Rush. This was a mid string that ended in either a safe mid that knocked down or a low that counter it launched but was launch punishable on block. So this is what made Lei's neutral game annoying, the Razor Rush mix-ups. And the thing about Razor Rush, this specific string, is, so firstly, Razor Rush can be delayed. Like every part of Razor Rush can be delayed, so it was very difficult to like try and challenge this character when he's doing this Razor Rush. And by the way, if everything hit on counter hit, everything was guaranteed, right? It's hit the last hit, of course the last 2 hits. And every part of Razor Rush could be cancelled into stance as well. So like forward 1, you would press up or down to go into Snake. Forward 1-2, press up or down to go into Dragon. Forward 1-1, press up or down to go into Panther. Forward 1-1-2 to go into Tiger. And forward 1-1-4, up or down to go into Crane. So this was like the meat and potatoes of Lei's poking game in neutral. You had to condition your opponent when to press and when not to press, so you could transition safely into stance and enforce a mix-up. Opponents loved to mash Lei from Razor Rush because they did not like taking guesses, so they would mash dick jab a lot. But again, if you finish the string, you had that low hit at the end that launched on counter hit. So this was the basis on how you played neutral with Lei. You had to use a lot of Razor Rush. Wasn't perfect though, might sound strong, it would easily be stepped. Even when you delayed it, it could easily be stepped. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 animal stances of LEI. Now I'll try to summarize this as much as possible, because I'll be honest, I think I can make like a 1 hour long video just talking about LEI. He's that deep, he got so much depth, so I'll try to summarize it and just talk about the important stuff in his stances. So Snake was the first one. Snake was like his safe stance, his safe poking stance. He had some good movement from the stance, he could block, and had some good moves as well. So he had Snake 1 1 1 1 1, which could land on counter hit, everything could hit, so it was pretty good for pressure. He had Snake 1+2, knocked down, safe on block. He also had Snake 4 1, was the scariest law in the stance, was given to him back in season 4. So this was a low high, you could duck it. So duck the low and you would launch him for throwing out the high. Then you also had Snake 3, which was a mid launcher, so you would use it as a mix up to his Snake 4. But this was strong because it would just buffer Snake 4 on its own. You did not have to commit to Snake 4 1, so just Snake 4 pressure, then you'd be good to go. You also had Snake 2 2, by the way. So Snake 2 2, then hold forward to go into Dragon stance. And that's one thing that was strong about LEI. Almost all his stances would connect with each other. There was ways to like transition from one stance to another stance, to another stance, to another stance. So it was just a perfect stance character in my opinion. So 2-2 was pretty good. The full string was 2-2-2, which gave him a low at the end. Then you could go into Dragon stance after that. So speaking of which, the second stance is Dragon stance. Dragon stance was pretty strong as well. He had good movement from this. I don't think he could block in the stance, if I'm not mistaken, but his movement was pretty strong. He had Dragon 1, which was a throw. So it was fun spamming throw cancels. With this move, you could hold back to like do the throw animation and cancel it. He had Dragon 2, which was a safe plus frame mid that launched on counter hit. This was mad strong. Plus launcher on counter hit. If you held forward, you could go into Tiger as well. And Tiger had a guaranteed mix-up between a low and a mid. So Dragon was pretty strong for pressure. Pretty amazing. He had Dragon 3, which is just a very decent low, did not have that much range. Dragon 1+2 was a high launcher, nothing too important. Dragon forward 1+2 was like a knockback, just a knockback mid, very good for wall splats as well. And then moving on to Panther. Panther was pretty strong as well. He had good forward movement from this. He could not block in the stance. However, the stance was an auto high crash as well as an auto low parry stance. You could not use lows against LEI whilst he was in the stance. You could not spam dig jab. So Razor Rush into Panther dash forward was a pretty good strat against people that spammed a lot of dig jab. Panther was very strong because as well it also had a 50-50 mix up between a launching mid and the low that knocked down. This was very strong, right? The low, of course, was launch punishable on block. The mid was, I believe, -13. He had Panther 3, which was some nice low that could take him into Phoenix stance if he held back. Tiger stance. Tiger was very strong as well. So like I said when I was talking about Dragon earlier, he had Tiger 4, which was a launcher on normal hit. This is a low launcher as well, had insane range. Like Tiger was perhaps his scariest stance because you could mix this up with his mid. He had a hit confirmable mid from Tiger as well. So you're guessing for your life is LEI was in your face in plus frames on Tiger stance. Like you were guessing. This was mad strong. So going into Tiger was like the goal with LEI if you wanted to go for mix-up stuff, right? So that was pretty decent with this character as well. He also had Crane. So Crane was not used all that much, to be honest. It also had a low parry, auto low parry. He could not block in his stance though. He had some pretty decent stuff though, like Crane 4, which was a low, knocked down but was launch punishable on block. So use that as a mix up with Crane 1. So that was like the biggest use of Crane, right? Either you go low or just go for the mid. Mostly used at the wall, right? For the 50-50 mix up. This also applied to the Drunken Master. Perhaps what made Jackie Chan mostly famous was the Drunken Master. So Drunken Master as well was good for wall pressure. It did not have good movement. He could not block in his stance, but he had a pretty strong low in 3-1+2, low high, natural on hit. So you mix that up with Drunken Master 1, which is like just a mid that get a wall splat. So mostly useful at the war. Now again, I'm trying to be as brief as possible and summarize like the most important tools of what LEI had in the stance. There is a lot of stuff I'm missing, guys, but this is not a LEI guide, this is not a LEI guide, this is not a LEI like in-depth breakdown, just a summarized look at how this character worked, and these are perhaps like the most important stuff this character had in stance. So the goal with LEI was to try by all means to mix your opponent by going into different stance transition, implementing that insane stance pressure, and just keep them guessing. Though it was not easy at high level, and you had to put in a lot of time and effort playing with this character. Okay, and lastly, because this video is already getting too long, LEI also had a back turn stance. You mostly wanted to go into back turn for the hell sweep. He had this hell sweep from back turn as well, and just like the regular one, you could also only do the first hit and actually have it come out as a launcher. So it was up to you to decide to do the full thing or just do the first hit. He also had up forward 4 from back turn, which used to launch back in Tekken 7, does not launch anymore in T8. So this was a very annoying 50-50 with LEI when he went into back turn in your face. Not just that, LEI also had 4 other different floor stances, guys. Floor stances. So he had down 2+3, he had down 1+4, down 2+4, and down 1+3 as well. All these had different moves when he laid on the ground. So he would lay on the ground with his face away from you, facing up, face down, feet away. Like, it was just too much, and I don't want to cover all this stuff because like it's just so much, bro. It was so much. So LEIs love to lie on the ground a lot, like of course trying to dodge a lot of stuff, to go on a lot of shit and punish that. But most of these were risky. They all had risky low, so if you had the right read, you could punish him straight up. But it was just so annoying fighting against LEIs, spamming this shit, bro, sleeping on the ground every single damn time. It was so freaking annoying. So this is why I say none of the characters in Tekken 8 compared to LEI when it comes to stance transitions. This man had so many stances, it's insane. I haven't even spoken about like Phoenix stance, bro. LEI was crazy when it came to stances. Okay, so I know it's not the best showcase, but guys, trust me when I say this man has one of the biggest command lists in the Tekken franchise, and he's just so deep. There's so many moves in his stances, like he's got just so much depth. But at least I gave you a summary of at least how the character played back in T7. So now going back to LEI being legacy. So if you ask anyone in their late 20s, in their early 30s, bro, everyone knows LEI, everyone loves LEI. So most people were surprised that he did not make the Tekken 8 roster. I have an older brother who is about late 30s. When he saw Tekken 8 for the first time, he saw the roster, the first question he asked me was, "Oh dude, there's no LEI on this game?" I'm like, yeah man, there's no LEI. He's just that iconic. Now, I do understand the character did not get a lot of play back in Tekken 7, but I feel like every fighting game has those characters. Not every fighting game character has to be as popular as Lily or King. There are some that can stay unique in their own little corner, and you have those niche players that love to play these characters, right? Characters like Raven, characters like Zafina are still those examples. Zafina is mad unique, mad underrated character, but she's not used all that much. But I still love her, I still want her in the game because she's just so unique. So LEI also falls in that niche, but I think LEI carries more weight, like more, you know, legacy weight. I think it's up there with the Laws, the Paws, you know, the Steves, the Brands when it comes to legacy. When someone looks at LEI, they instantly think of Tekken. I think he's that sort of character. So yes, maybe 2 people might play him if or when he comes, but I do feel as though he is a type of character that has to be on the launch roster. I mean, it's goddamn Jackie Chan, bro, inspired by Jackie Chan. Like, he has to be on the roster. They took a huge gamble in Tekken 7 when people were going insane that LEI was not in Tekken 7. They brought him back. He did not get much play rate, and Hardy has actually mentioned this. So if he doesn't make it in Season 3, I do understand, but I think he needs to make it. If it's a last season, he should be like the final character at least. Because dude, I think LEI in Tekken 8 would be insane. I think these guys would absolutely cook when it comes to the redesign of our boy, bro. Like, all my days, just like remove the trash moves, bro. Like, just focus on the character's good aspects and enhance those particular aspects to bring out the best of the character. Like, make his stances a bit more viable. His frame data was horrible in Tekken 7, so make him actually good, make him actually competitive, and who knows, maybe his popularity might rise and not be as low as it was back in Tekken 7/Tag 2. So just a brief talk on our boy LEI. There's been a lot of negativity with Tekken 8, as often is the case, so I thought let me step away from the drama and just talk about a good character that a lot of people miss and want back in Tekken 7. So how do y'all feel about our boy LEI WULONG? Do you think he carries enough legacy weight, such as Law, Paul, or Brian, or do you think he's a trash mob and it's fine that he never comes back? You let your boy know. LEI mains, talk to me. Do you want your boy back, or is it GG's for our boy? In fact, do you think our boy will make it back, or it's wraps? Let me know in the comment section. So thank you, Nemi gang, as usual, for taking time to watch my video. If you've made this far, please don't forget to absolutely feast that like button, pause, and subscribe if you're new. GG, Nemi gang, and as usual, may the Predator be ever in your favor. GG.